What's up, guys? Gorgeous day out here in Colorado. Me and John just kind of kicking it today, but again, caught myself going through Facebook Marketplace like I do way too often. And like I mentioned in a previous video, I'm not sure if I want to K-swap the hatch or if I want to go with a built turbo single cam. Well, I found another EK hatch, 96, so it's just like mine, and it's already K-swapped. Has a K24 bottom end, K20 Z3 head, and it's a running driving car. Well, I guess almost running. He sold the K Pro out of it, but aside from K Pro, it is a running car, so it will fire. Or no, I'm sorry, it doesn't fire. It will crank, but it doesn't fire. And I'm gonna go up to Denver with John. We're gonna load up the trailer, see if we can't get the car for a good deal. If we can, the K will end up going right into here. We'll pull this single out and throw it into the other hatch, and we'll have another running car. Probably gonna end up selling that one. Not too sure yet, but you know, regardless, if I can get this K-swap for a super good deal, it'll, you know, bring the cost of a K-swap so low that I would be stupid not to take it. So we're going to load up the trailer and make our way up to Denver. Well, the deed is done. The most painful part is over. We got the money, and it's time to hit the road. Alright guys, we just finished the hour-and-a-half drive up here, just east of Denver, to check out the car. I'm not going to take the GoPro while we check it out, just for the owner's privacy, but we are going to run a compression test on it. We're going to check everything out, check the wiring. Like I said, he says it will crank but not start, so we brought everything we need to kind of check that out. Hopefully it is not that bad, and we'll pick it up. But all right, John, what did we just do?
Well, we picked up this marvelous EK hatch with the K24, K20. She's got RBC intake manifold, EM1 LCAs up front. It's got rear disc conversion. It's missing carpet in the interior, but that's not a big deal. Needs Honda and probably a little bit of wiring and a battery, but other than that, for $36.89, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, so this car is pretty legit, guys. We checked compression on every cylinder. It ran 125 across all cylinders perfectly. And talking to the owner, it has some good stuff. 12.5 to 1 compression, pistons, Cometic head gasket, ACL race bearings. You know, it's got a lot of stuff, polished crank, polished cams, everything. So it should make some serious jam once we get some K-Pro in it and get it tuned. But I think for the price, we got a good car. I only brought 3,500 up because it was listed for 45. Didn't want to spend that much, regardless of whether or not it was worth it. I just didn't know if I want to spend that much. Brought 35, and dude was a hard bargain. He wouldn't let it go for 35 with the SI wheels, because it does have factory SI wheels. I know it's dark, so it's got factory SI wheels. The shell overall is pretty clean, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I really just want it for the motor that'll go into my hatch. But he made me give him all the money out of my wallet, folks. All the money out of my wallet. Literally another $189 I had to give to this man to get the wheels. But it was worth it. Got the SI wheels. Those are worth, you know, a little bit. So overall, pretty happy with the purchase, guys. But stay tuned, because this thing is going to get yanked and thrown into the orange EK once we get the manifold fixed on the turbo single. So it should be fun. Stay tuned, guys. So we finally got the hatch back to the house, and now that it's daylight, we can actually show you guys what it actually looks like. It was super dark when we got it, so sorry about that, but let's take a look at it. Body's not horrible. I mean, she's a little tired though. Needs paint on the front bumper. Fender's a little beat up, but it's not the worst thing. But that's all we wanted it for, folks. So as a CRV K24 bottom end, K20 Z3 head off of an 8th Gen SI, has RBC manifold, looks like stock throttle body, has a EP3 trans, K-tune shifter box, already has a race header, which is nice, or I'm sorry, a K-swap header. So when we were cranking it, I mentioned the compression was 125, which is obviously low, and that's really because we were going off of a jump box because the battery's dead, so we couldn't really get real compression numbers, but they were the exact same across the board. So I'm hoping that once we actually get a battery in it, it'll crank just like it should and make good compression numbers. You already know, has those Passport mounts. It's got AC power steering delete. It's got RDX 410cc injectors, which are good for an NA application, which it'll be for at least a little bit. We got Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator, which is nice. Got some AN fittings for the fuel lines. Decent little radiator, K-swap, which is nice. All the hoses lined up and are the proper sizes. But as we go down the side, sorry, it's still on the trailer, kind of a pain, but gutted interior. It has the rear seat cushions, but no frame, and a torn ass GSR leather. But again, I don't plan on keeping this. My buddy Tyler actually said he wanted it already. Needs a back window for some reason. It's blown out. But so if everything goes well, we'll start pulling the K out of this sooner than later, and we will pull the single out of mine as well and swap them and see if we can't get the car sold and have two little rippers. I just need some K-Pro. I just need to find one that's decent, and we'll get it put together, get it running. Hopefully, like I said, everything runs right. We won't know until we already have the ECU and it's game time. So we're back in the garage. It's been about 2 weeks since I picked up the K-Swap DK. Just been sitting on the trailer, haven't even touched it yet. Just been looking at parts, trying to figure out how I want to go about this. So I was actually out last night with some buddies. We took the orange EK out along with his bagged EG hatch, and we were cruising, ripping, and guess what? I don't know if you can see it, but it broke the manifold again. So I was kind of trying to run this for longer than, you know, I guess 2 more weeks, but the first time out after it got fixed, it's already broken again. Next week is Christmas, so probably Christmas Eve. I don't think I'm working, so we're gonna start pulling the single out of this and pulling the K out of that one as well, get them swapped over and get the swap started. So earlier in the video, I mentioned that I was probably going to run K-Pro. After some research, I don't think I'm going to, because it's way more expensive than like some S300 like I'm used to on a single or a B series. So for like the $1,200 price range, I talked to my tuner and he was like, why don't you just get a standalone for that price? So after doing some research and going off his recommendation, I think we're gonna go with ECU Master. They make it EMU black ECU. It's a full standalone, and they have an adapter harness for a K20A2 factory harness, which that car already runs. So that way it's plug and play, make everything super easy, way more tunable, a lot more parameters to work with on that. And ultimately, once I boost it, it'll be a lot better of a platform to go with. We can data log a lot more, and like I said, the parameters are just way more extensive on a standalone versus a K-Pro, since it's just a piggyback on a factory ECU. Quick little update on the interior as well. We got these NRG buckets in here with some Sparco rails and sliders. And I'll tell you what, guys, they make a huge difference in regards to driving the car. The stock EK seats, you know, they're not designed to be any sort of performance seat. They literally have no bolsters or anything, so going around corners, you're hanging on for dear life, grabbing onto the wheel, whatever the case. These new seats, man, they hold you in place. They're super nice. Super stoked on the purchase. If you guys need any parts, check out K-Series Parts. My buddy Steve up there will get you set up. He got me a good deal on these seats on a pre-Christmas deal, but I'm super stoked on the overall outcome on them, and I can't wait to actually take the car into the mountains with the seats, give it a good old rip, and see how they hold up. So that'll do it for this video, guys. Kind of show you around the K-Swap car, the plans that we're getting started for it. Another update on this since it broke the manifold again. and stay tuned for the next video where we start the teardown of both cars and start the K-swap process. So if any of you guys are interested in K-swapping your car, I'll try to go into depth on some things that I had some questions on, and as we go through it, you can kind of see how we go about fixing it, tackling the problem, and see if that doesn't help you guys.
Oh, shit!